My name is John Wafula Simba. The famous is WAF. When you go to any set, they eat a WAF. So WAF have been around in this film industry for quite some times. So this is what we used to do. Things have changed from my time when we used to shoot. We used to use maybe like tungsten, red hairs, blondie, those lights. Those days we were very busy cutting chairs just to convert from tungsten to daylight, stuff like that. So there is a transformation of lighting from that particular moment up now as we talk. Because right now, when you look around, we have soft lights all over around, not like these days of ours. So there's a lot of transformation, especially in the movie industry or in the cinema industry, especially lighting. Lighting for drama series, for movie, for talk show like maybe, yeah, and then documentaries. Those are two elements. There is also studio lighting, drama series, and also documentaries. We'll start with drama series when you're shooting. Drama series when you're shooting, that's what we call pockets of lighting. Because the house will always have what? Windows, door, and the big rooms like this one. So when we are lighting, depends on how the DOP wants it to be done. Because you have an idea about what you're supposed to do, but you see, the DOP is the overall guy. And you see these two elements goes in hand with each other. So your DOP will come and tell you that this is how he wants it. And also, you sit down, brainstorm, you like this to happen like this, you like this to happen like that. So long as the director does the blocking, and you're being called in as like HODs, so that you can all monitor the movement of the actors. Then you place your lights, then put up the camera, you see where there is hot spots, we can cut them, and some we can even push the lights, move them. That's how we work out things. Because when we're shooting drama series, it's like two different things. Different is that drama series is not like a movie. Drama series is a show whereby it tells about day-to-day life and how things is happening. A movie also is a different. Also a different because lighting the movie and lighting the drama series is different. Because drama series, you can have interior, exterior things, and also most likely everything is about daylight or something of the sort. And see, lighting tells a story. Lighting tells a story because when you are doing lighting, and especially when you are like a cover, you are being called to do this job, especially work on this project. The bottom line of the whole stuff is you come and sit down with director and TOB. They tell you about the project they are going to work on. What you do is that you need a script. Once you read a script, the script will guide you exactly how you should go about it. One, the script will tell you exactly how the movement of someone from outside the house, going ACT, ABCD, or someone seated in the house, whether someone is crying, whether someone is in a very good mood, stuff like that. So light also tells the story exactly. If someone is crying, you can see also the tense mood of lighting in that particular house. It is not like putting a light, bam, flooding light in the house. No. That mood is what tells the story, especially when the series is being done. So, drama series, when you're shooting, yeah, it's a fantasy. You can enjoy different scenes, enjoy everything like that. So, yeah. When the actors, the scene where people can just be talking, maybe in marketplaces, bar scenes, you're enjoying them, putting funds. Yeah. Like you see, when you're lighting in the bar and when you're lighting in the house, those are different. Like I said, lighting a trauma is a pocketing of light. Pockets of light because we have got windows and doors. And those in the background, there's practical lights inside there. You have to put them because a house is a house, just like any house. Because not maybe in each corner there's at least a special practical lamp which is there. When you're lighting, you know how hotspot is this, and the DOP will tell you even before you start rolling the camera. In fact, I've gone to TV. The moment you start rolling the camera, we could have finished off things like we have hotspots of lighting. We can cut them either maybe using neutral intensity gels, or if the room is not big, you push back the light, and then if everything is still not limited to what you want, what you do is just push back the camera. And if still lights, they cannot give you what you want, you still the place is hot, what you do is that now you go back to the camera and then you put NT filters. That one can give you exactly stuff you want. So that's about trauma lighting. Trauma series lighting. When you're shooting a series, especially when you're shooting a movie is so different completely. A movie doesn't need those huge lights. A movie needs a very small light, detailed lights, like maybe Tito light, 300, 1K, 650, that kind of lights gives you enough sequence of light. So a big light like maybe 4K, 5K, 4K, 6K, 8K, they can give you a big details of lighting, maybe moonlight outside there. But you don't need those big lights to light a scene if you are shooting a drama series. You need a very few detailed lighting inside, which can tell the story about, Because when the script is written, it tells the story. And also lighting tells the story, how you want them to be. And also the way the director wants, and also the TOP can execute it. Because you see, when we have different TOPs. We have a different TOP, a DOP who can do a lighting. He knows what he wants. He knows what he wants because he'll tell you that put this light up there, put this one up there, put that one up there, and this one up there. And then you put the camera there. There you see those hot spots, chop them off. And also the shadows. What is shadows? Then we need a flag, French flag. Those are things normally we use it. Once everything is done, if still the situation is hot, that is where you come to the camera and you see, get what you want. It is a very simple and nice. So long as you know it, it's very easy. But if you don't know it, my friend, shadows will always screw you up. But you see, cutting off the shadows, if you place a light here, you cast a shadow the other side. But for you to kill this shadow, you have to use a light to kill the shadow. So that's how it is. Or you use a flag to cut off the shadows. Or if that's not enough, then you have to put the NT filters on the camera, or before the NT filters, you have to put NT neutral intensity gels, which they can help you very well in doing everything, whatever you want. We have NT3, we have 6, NT6, we have NT9, and 1.2. NT3 cuts 1 stop, NT6 cuts 2 stops, NT9 cuts 3 stops, NT 1.2, that is 4 stops. But you cannot go up to that level unless you're using a very huge light. And definitely if you're shooting maybe anything like a drama series, especially for this, our local stuff here in this country, you'll use a very simple lights, which you don't need those big gels at least to cut those stops. So it is a very nice stuff. Watching very closely, it is, lighting is art. Always. If you know the art of lighting, everything is so simple. You just push the part like this and everything lights up. That's a drama series or lighting. When you're shooting exterior, especially on the side of trauma also, we have what we call reflectors. We have soft reflectors like silver, and then we have gold. Then also we have the mirrors. The mirrors work especially when there's no the sun completely. So we always use the mirror at least to achieve what you want. When you're using soft silver is nice, and also the body itself bouncing light to the subject. At least we feel it, because you see, normally when you're shooting outside, everything is lit. The only thing you need is to feel those underneath, or to compensate light, especially when it's not there. That's how you do it. Because sometimes when you're shooting outside, when the sun is above there, especially like in the midday, sometimes it becomes very difficult to light because it is on top of your head. Because when you're shooting, especially like exteriors, during the midday, the sun is on top of the roof. Because you need enough light kick to bounce back the light so that at least you can get what you want. So normally sometimes you say that during the midday, sometimes it's not good to shoot because there is heavy shadows, especially in the eyes and also in the underneath of the neck. So normally, what you're doing is that you put in a very strong soft reflector, then at least you can get anything we want. So that's how we shoot outside. It is simple, because any person, any young man who is coming in this industry, in fact, we're talking about this younger generation, not the old guys like me who is retiring very soon. Because I know very well that tomorrow I will leave you, the young boy who is watching this program today, at least take over for me, because that's what I want you to be. One thing is that, very active guy. This is not a job which is for fantasy. You'll get tired. It is 30, but always make sure kwamba you do it to your capacity, and it will be a good cover tomorrow. Yes, let's talk about talk show. Talk show, I remember, lighting a talk show is a different thing, because you see, inside interior is a studio thing, because normally you don't have a talk show outside. It has to be inside the studio or a place whereby you create a small studio. That's how we talk about it. I remember I was sometimes shooting a studio, Wongozi show, and also No Zone, which is normally runs on TV stations, which I don't want to mention it, because so it was a good stuff. But all the time, you see, when you're lighting inside the studio, everything is up there. You rig from up, key light there, park light there, everything is up there. You see, talk show, the studio thing is very different completely. And you see, when the studio is high, sometimes you use lights which you call beacons. Those beacons, in fact, they are very high. You see, they always pinpoint to the subject, not like, you're bringing the light closer. No, it is very high on top of the roof. That's when it marks. It's a very nice lighting, because beacons sometimes, not like this one, which you shoot like, we're using in the music video. Beacons or profile lights, they are very nice, especially when you're using dog shows very well. And sometimes, because I think it's good that sometimes when we're doing this thing, definitely we'll be profiling lights, especially when you mention this, you'll see it. When you mention this one, you have to see it. So it is. But this one, basically, is just something at least we want to enlighten you so that tomorrow, when you go there, you ask, which one is a profile light? Which one is beacons? Beacons has got types. We have got colored beacons and also tungsten beacons. Those ones, because when you're talking about talk show, up there, we use tungsten beacons. They're very good for talk shows, for shooting in the studios. When you're shooting in this interior studios, we don't use daylight. Daylight lights for the users, because it is enclosed area. So what you just use tungsten, most likely, and also beacons, which is a soft lights, because sometimes it's too hot, unless you have a big studio whereby you know very well that, So you don't use daylight, you don't do comfort light from tungsten to daylight. You just use profile, and also in this, if it is too hot, you just cut them with stops you want them. It's a very nice stuff. Beacons are very good, especially when pinpoint to the subject. then it looks good. Anytime when you go there outside, you ask what is Perkins, because the lighting we use in the studio for especially maybe talk shows, it is not likely like in the psychology Perkins, because sometimes Perkins you can use them for maybe music videos, but this one I'm talking about is specifically for shooting maybe talk shows in the studios. So when you use that one, when you go and say, sometimes you go ask, maybe you Google, get them, or sometimes back maybe soon when we're talking about lights, we'll be profiling them one by one. If I talk about 300, you'll see it. If I talk like Tito light, you'll see it there. If I talk like maybe 1K, you'll see there. If I talk like maybe 2K, you'll see there. 2.5 HMI, which is daylight, you'll see there. 1.2 daylight, you'll see there. So that's what we'll be doing. We'll do a good job. But inside the studio, there's two different lighting. It is not the same as like when you're shooting drama series. Music video is a good stuff. It's a good entertainment in the society where young men and girls shake their bodies. And even you, when you sit in the house, you just could looking for it and then say, yeah, that is what you want. But you know what? There is what we call lighting behind the scenes, whereby it makes you at least look everything and then, yeah, that is it. Music video is good. Lighting for music video is a very different thing. In fact, basically, most likely, it is like about gallant everything. It is a fantasy scene. It's about dancing, feeling good every time around there. That is how you go about it. You see, when you're putting up lights, it's not like, yeah, you put 1K there and then, or 2K there, tungsten, things like that. No. Most likely use colored gels. Colored gels is where people ask, because you see sometimes someone is going, you're shooting a drama series and someone said, are you going to use using colored gels? Colored gels only works in the fantasy scenes, like music video, when you're dancing, you're having entertainment in the bar and so on, something of the sort, where people having fun, good time. Yeah, that is it. So when you're having those gels around, colored gels like green, purple, red, and so on. That is the time when people talk about colored gels. When you're, especially those are the things you use, and also smoke machines make everything move. Yeah. Because every time, everything moves and people are dancing. Because most likely people ask, why do we use colored gel? Because they don't know colored gels can be applied in which place can you apply? Colored gels. Colored gels can be applied in a fantasy scenes, like in the bar, like in a music video, or fantasy places like in maybe waiting stuff, especially in the house, and then people having the fun, cool time. That's how we use it. For example, you pull in those tube lights, like red tubes, it gives you a good mood of you're feeling a good time. That's what I can tell you. Because you see, also, like I've said, in fantasy scenes can be in a movie. Fun scenes you can be having like maybe a wedding, and also like in a drama series there's a scene which also needs that kind of entertainment. Then you can also apply those fun gels, those colored gels. Yeah, so you can only apply that, but colored gels you cannot apply them in a serious scenes where people are having a discussion like in family affairs issues. No, unless you have to do something different. If we follow the story very well, it depends. Or unless if the script says so. If the script says that, this house will be looking, but of course there's no way the script says that when you're having lunch, it will be having a scene whereby it's red, definitely, it can't work like that. So colored gels only works in the fantasy scenes and also in the movie or a music video. That's what I can get it. Yes, now let's talk about lighting, about the movie. Depends. The movie might be big, might be small. Yes. We use always very small detailed lights, like Tito light, 1K, 2K, 650, something of the sort, or 2.5. But we only use those huge lights. Maybe if we're shooting like street lights, and then because we have a practical light running along the street, and then you put that one as a moonlight. So inside the rooms, most likely, the light tells the story. When we talk about small lights, those street lights, 650, 300. Those one gives you a mood in the system whereby it tells a story. The details of lighting exactly about getting the way the script is. Because sometimes, when maybe the scene is like maybe fighting scene, you see how it is. You'll see a very huge beam of light coming out from the window or from outside, and people are just having, 1, 2, 3, fighting over. Or you're seeing a tense scene, people, like maybe people are crying, maybe, So light tells the story. And then when you're doing lighting, first of all, once you get the script, it will guide you all the way until the last time when you're doing the things. Because sometimes scenes are tense. When you look at it, you say, Because sometimes even up to the situation whereby you need smoke machine, then, it gives you enough amount of lighting, You'll be happy. Because sometimes when you look at lighting, you wonder how it started. That is how a young man like you, I'm telling you today. Because sometimes when you look at the big movies from abroad, you say, I would like to watch something like that. But why can we not start it here? Start with our own. Because when you're coming from school, you're just 0 upstairs. A lot of theory. Yes, you have it. You would like to be a producer. You would like to be a DOB. You don't even know what the sound means. You don't know what it means, maybe like lighting. There are only 2 basics. Maybe you want to be a director, a producer, and DOB. Those are 3 elements which, guys, when they're coming out from college, they normally tell you. But when I meet a young man like you and start describing exactly what happens, reality on set, those are 2 different things completely out of each other. You don't know anything. That's why I'm guiding you today, that when you start lighting, it depends on what you want. Ask how. But always, by the time you reach up to this level of mind, you'll know whether you're lighting either a movie, a drama series, a talk show, or a documentary. That is how you go about it. Once you get those things, you'll be fine. Like I've told you, you cannot use big lights, especially when you're shooting, maybe like moonlight, or shooting in the street at night. That's how they give you those effects. Or when you're shooting, like maybe, normally sometimes when you're shooting like a movie, titles lighting is like ranging from 2.5, 1.2, or 5.5. Those are normally it gives you. Because light tells a story. Light tells a story for a small title, not flatting light all over everywhere. No. If you're flatting light all over everywhere, and then it doesn't have the meaning. That's what I can tell you. Talking about interviews, yes, you can shoot it anywhere, wherever you want them, but not like news. Shooting interviews, it can be on a green screen, it can be anywhere in house or in the office. But what you need to do is to have maybe backdrop, either black, blue, but not really blue. Anything else you can do it. So I've shoot so many interviews. Maybe because I remember working on a certain project, it's agriculture stuff, which I don't want to mention names. Most likely we are shooting interviews. We have done them all of almost the whole of East Africa, doing those stuffs. It's good. With different things every time now and then. Simple lighting system, not 3 points. Even 2 lights can work. Even 1, so long as you can achieve what you want. So you can as well have a simple light. Not necessarily you need to have a huge light for you to shoot something you want. You can have small lighting, skid, like maybe, LED lights, Falcon Eyes light. These days is one of the best light you can use it. Not like those days of mine when I used to use tungsten, like redhead and blonde lights. So these days things have changed dramatically, completely. This is a new model. era whereby we are using new technology to get what we want. And also, in fact, even the cameras we're using, they're very sensitive to lights. You use a very little light, and also you can achieve what you want. A very nice one. So interviews, when you're shooting, like I've said, you can use green screen, blue screen, dark screen, all those ones. And in the background, you put what you want using the light of your choice. So lighting and the camera, they go on hand in hand. In fact, they are married to each other. Like when I'm doing clips and doing lighting and camera work, it's the same thing. Because especially when you're tracking, like on dolly, everything like that, a clip man will always be next to camera guy, because he's the one who assists him to hold the camera and do everything, whatever you do. So basically, someone who is doing clips and lighting, he knows the camera better than any other person, because you know the stops of the camera and also cutting off the lighting stops. Yeah, intensities, like maybe cutting stops, like yeah, ND3, ND6, ND9, and 1.2. That's how they get it. You see, when you're given a job, like a cover for this project, first of all, you'll be given a script. And the script is the one who is going to guide you how you should go about this job. Because first of all, when you read the script, it tells you exactly how these things are going to be laid. So one thing for sure is this: you'll get to meet your team leader, who is a director, and a director of photography, and also art master. So when you meet all together, you sit down and discuss about what to have in the script and how you're going to execute this job. So what you do is this: you go on Reiki and you see the place, what kind of lighting you're going to use, and also you sit down, write down everything every time wherever you're on set, and definitely it's to tell you that, look here, we have rigged this place and find this place is so good stuff for this thing. You write down all those details, and then once you come back, you sit down and decide, yeah, DOP will tell you that I want this kind of lighting stuff, I want this, I want 2.5, I want 1.2, I want 5.5, such stuff like that. So when you come back to location, you sit down and you write down the budget, and then you give it back to your boss. That's what you consider most, because most likely it's about when you're on Reiki, that is how it is determined how many lights you want, and maybe you want to track, you use maybe trucks or a jib or a crane, whatever you want. So determination of you how to execute your job is when you go on Reiki. That's what you can do. We have talked about lighting. You see, the only way we can do about this stuff is called lighting is that we have to profile them and see the details of lighting. Because if we talk about lighting without showing them, then you can't see anything. Because we're talking about this like, yeah, this film industry. The film industry is that when you talk about something, you have to show it. So we'll profile those each details of lighting. Like 300, we'll show them. We like Tito light, we'll show it. Like cover kit, we show them. Like everything, whatever. We mention them starting from the lowest one up to the big one, 20K up there. That's how we're going to do that. So very soon, you'll need to have to see that. Young men and girls, how are you? This is Wolf, lighting technician. You see, I've lived all my life doing lighting. That is what makes me to be who I am today. When we talk about lighting, lighting brings food for me on the table. Lighting gives me stuff. When I sleep, I always dream about lighting. And because of lighting, I've lived to be where I am today. So young guys, I know when you come out from college, a lot of things you talk about is that, yeah, I want to be a DOP. I want to be a producer. I want to be a director. But remember that a journey of 1,000 miles always starts with one step. And if for you to reach there, you have to start from somewhere. You have to start from somewhere. See, lighting is art. You have to be creative. Because if you're creative, you'll get what you want. And if you think you can just place a light here like this, pop, definitely you'll not get what you want. Be creativity in this kind of situation and love your work. Always, you'll get what you want. Especially for this young generation who are coming up tomorrow like you, I'm talking to. Please, love this job. I know it's tight sometimes, because when you find guys who are doing lighting and grip, sometimes when you find them on location, you can imagine even some of them have never gone to school. You think that these are just guys who are like that. But let me tell you, what will be the outcome from this, what they are doing, it will tell us a lot, like the way light tells a story. Thank you very much.